Okay, so we are going to call this meeting to order. It is now 6 o'clock. So I believe we're now in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and quickly open up for public comment. Under state law,
Excuse me, Chair, could I please take the roll?
Okay, yes, sorry.
Thank you. Chair Neal?
Here.
Vice Chair Barlow? Excused. Member Weekly?
Here.
Member Goins Brown?
Here.
Member Atkinson? Excused. Member Young?
Here.
Member Summers Armstrong? Excused. Member Hambrick?
Here.
Member Broom? Excused. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up for public comment. We're required under state law to open up for public comment at the beginning of the meeting and at the end. And are there any citizens coming up for public comment? Seeing none, we're going to move on to agenda item number 4 for possible action, but we actually are going to obey the approval of the final minutes. Correct? Yes. So we're going to obey the approval of the final minutes because they're not here for this meeting today. Do I have to take a motion on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So is there a motion? I'm taking a motion to obey the minutes from the last meeting on October 13th.
Move for approval, please.
Second.
And second from Dr. Young, as the first from Commissioner Weekly.
There you go.
Okay, so moving, motion accepted. Everybody say yay.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so next we're going to do agenda number 5, which is the report regarding the summary and budget status report for SNEC.
Madam Chair, the budget is, or the balance in the account, is $1,279.25.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, what was that again?
It was $1,279.25.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
I know. It's donut money. Okay, so so now
Where does that money come from, Madam Chair?
that money actually is left over from an initial appropriation that Senator Hortzler did, right?
Okay.
I believe the funds originally came from the Nevada Commission on Economic Development, which is now the Governor's Office of Economic Development originally. And I believe the amount was $8,500, but I'm not sure about that, Commissioner.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead, Commissioner.
No, I said thank you.
Oh, okay. So agenda item number 6, we have discussion for possible action regarding the vice chair. I found out that Councilman Barlow still wants to be the vice chair, so we can go ahead and take a motion, right, on Councilman Barlow remaining the vice chair. Can I get a first?
So moved.
Okay, the first from Councilwoman Goins, and a second
Second. I approve second, please.
from Dr. Young. All in favor to approve the motion?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
All right.
Now we will go ahead and move on to agenda item number 7. We have a report from Dr. Tiffany Tyler. It was obeyed from the last meeting on October 13th. Dr. Tyler, could you please come to the table? Thank you.
Good evening. I'll be brief in my presentation. I'll begin by saying there has been much progress on the initiative since our last report. As part of that process, we are pleased to report that in partnership with the City of Las Vegas, a Promise Zone designation application was submitted on November 21st on behalf of the community, where the focus is fivefold: economic opportunity, educational opportunity, reduction in violent crime, as well as leveraging private investments. And as a part of that work, we are supporting a number of efforts, including the My Brother's Keeper initiative and the Las Vegas Promise Neighborhood initiative. Each of those comprise this work. So we're pleased and are waiting to hear the stance. For your review in your packet, I have provided an overview of that designation. as well as a map associated with the pilot area. You will note that there were several criteria that had to be met, which is noted on the first page of the document that indicates West Prep 8, where there had to be, for the area defined, a minimum poverty rate of 33% or greater, as well as 10,200 resident to 200,000 residents, as well as a significant unemployment rate. And you'll note that for the area mapped, that the poverty rate was 40.1%, as well as a nearly 16% unemployment rate. This designation provides additional technical assistance from the federal government, as well as allows the community to receive additional points on any federal grants that are submitted on behalf of the community. So while it does not come with any monies, it is a good benefit in terms of the vision of working across systems to impact the needs of particular communities. You'll also note in your packet for review an item on one of the first workforce development projects to come out of the auspices of the My Brother's Keeper initiative, where a cohort of youth were trained in production assistant training this summer and produced a short film that is rather timely. It's a short film on the intersection between voting and the impact of criminal justice system on boys and young men of color. That's you produced, and that premiere will be this December 17th from 5:30 to 8 at the Palm Theater. We provided a flyer as well as a press release for your review. And just to make sure that we're on the same page, we've also provided the executive summary of a white paper detailing our efforts under the Promise Neighborhood Collaborative and the My Brother's Keeper initiative locally. Have any questions? I can get those at this time.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am. Hey, I wanted to ask, I recall several of us, and I'm not sure if Councilwoman Goins or even Trustee Young or even Assemblywoman Neal were up on this conference call that the White House had when this initiative first began. Were any of you involved in that?
Yeah.
Okay, I recall, I thought that, and I guess here's one going with this, that I thought that there was some national fundraising efforts that had taken place around the nation. And then there would be grant opportunities for initiatives such as this. Did anything ever come about that, Dr. Chuck?
We at a national level, there is a list of funders who committed to align their resources with it. We have not seen any of those notices, but what we have seen over the course, I would say, the last 9 months or so, is the federal government issuing initiatives to look at either like evidence-based practice. One case in point was they issued one around identifying best practices and mentoring that they tied to the My Brother's Keeper initiative, but we have not seen any private funders necessarily issuing the RFPs just yet. I can tell you in addition that I believe it was maybe 6 weeks ago, the White House issued a national challenge where they asked communities or municipalities to adopt the My Brother's Keeper initiative and develop a community-wide action plan. We did have the city of Las Vegas adopt that, held the summit on the 10th of November, and are in the middle of 120 days to turn a plan around. In collaboration with the UNLV, in particular Public Admin Department, had a cohort of graduate students provide a draft plan last week that is under revision, but as far as defined funding opportunities, we haven't seen those just yet.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Any additional questions? When do you expect to get your response back for the grant submission? About 4 months?
Approximately, but I can send the actual date to you.
And so is there anything else that we need to do now that I think Congressman Horns was at the forefront of this private funding, something that we need to maybe discuss?
Yes, there is a need to continue to push for alignment across systems, particularly around data sharing and leveraging the resources. The vision for the work is that we truly work across the community to impact the needs of a particular geographic location or or population. Some of the barriers that I'm sure I'm speaking to the choir here have been the ability to share data across system, because there are policy barriers. Anything that you can do to move the needle on that discussion or to push for alignment would be greatly appreciated. I can tell you at the most recent summit held on the 10th that we identified there was overlap between the juvenile justice system, the population at West Prep, as well as Metro. And as we began pulling back the layers to see what the root causes were, we were able to determine that there were literally youth who had been arrested for shoplifting condoms and food. From that perspective, if the root cause is responding to their reproductive health or food needs, the fact that we have a Planned Parenthood in our community or 3 Square, and we're not all at the table saying how do we mitigate or disproportionate contact among boys and men of color by making sure that we leverage that, would be short-sighted on our part. So anything that you can do from a policy stance to support that alignment, as well as leveraging resources, will be greatly appreciated. And some examples of that are happening now will tell you that the My Brother's Keeper initiative, committed to supporting an Each One Read One initiative, where now Workforce Connection System came to the table and said that they will purchase books for youth in the Graduate Advocate Initiative to read to younger youth, which was a win-win from the perspective of the Graduate Advocate Initiative targets literacy needs among populations. It was an opportunity to leverage that while allowing them to develop leadership skills by reading to younger youth of their peers. So opportunities to do that kind of leveraging would also be incredibly helpful.
Okay.
Because we haven't received any fund. Everything that is happening under
It's in kind.
is in kind all of the time. And we continue to have standing meetings every second and fourth Wednesday where there are defined goals and objectives that we're working toward. There's a great deal of work happening under that initiative. And it was one initiative that was highlighted on the heels of the Ferguson event that the White House had issued in response to those kinds of issues. So if we could make some targeted investments there, it would be incredibly helpful.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tyler. Any questions? Okay. So, closing agenda item number 7, we're going to open up for agenda item number 8, and this will be our last item.
Mr. Collins.
Madam Chairman, can anybody ask a question?
Oh, in public comment, you can come up. That'll be agenda item number 9. So we're on agenda item number 8, which is the discussion for possible action regarding the update of the SNEC Community Economic Development Plan. Commissioner Weekly, I actually emailed that to you over the weekend.
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay, good.
I was in D.C. and I got on to see it when I got back.
Okay, awesome. So we have to take action to adopt the draft plan to open it up for the 30-day public comment. So I need to take a motion on that, and then we'll take discussion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, so a motion first from Councilwoman Goins, second from Dr. Young, and now we can go ahead and open up the conversation for discussion.
Open up the
Do
conversation.
I accept the motion?
I accept the
We have to
motion.
vote.
Oh, okay, so let's take them. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we can open up for discussion on the draft. All right. Mr. Hamburg? All right.
On that particular thing that I looked at this year, and also one other thing that was given to me, I'd like to have information prior to coming to the meeting on anything like this, so I'll be able to answer, discuss, give my consent one way or the other. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Okay. Councilwoman Goins?
As I'm going through the pages, and I have read this over the weekend and provided you with some updates, and I'm coming across some other ones that either need to be just revised or additions to. So are we going to do that within the 30 days, or can we still just make changes because it is still in the draft?
Yeah, we can still make the changes now and within the 30 days, because the 30 days will kick off today.
Okay, so I will get those finished going through this and get those to you later this week.
Okay. Dr. Young?
I just wanted to indicate this is, I haven't gone through all of it. I will go through it very carefully and be prepared to provide comments, but just in my initial response to his good job, I think we've been waiting for this for a while, and my compliments to the team who put this together and those that worked on getting this in this kind of a format. So I just want to acknowledge that.
Okay, Commissioner Weekly?
I concur. I think it's a good document. I think that there needs to be some kind of updates because things have changed, and we need to really just kind of formulate our thoughts in terms of what direction we'll go in now that things have changed from a congressional standpoint. I know Congressman Bushman had some ideas that he was presenting to us, and hopefully we get an opportunity to sit with him and just kind of pick his brain and see what were some of those ideas he had and see how we can formulate this in our updated plan. But I think this is a really good skeleton for us to have, a good tool for us to be able to work off of and see how we can get some really good input from the community and mesh this thing together. I think this is a long time coming. This is what other communities do all the time. We talk about really trying to really put a good, creative, and solid plan together. It's a collective thing, and it takes a number of voices. And I know what we struggle with here, Madam Chair, is that we have 2 different municipalities, well, actually 3 local municipalities that's engaged in this. And so, Councilman Barlow, Councilwoman Brown, and myself, of course, before we finalize anything, we got to make sure that our staffs are on board to help come to the table to carry out the vision as well. So I think the 30-day period will give us ample enough time. And I'm wondering, being that we're at the end of the year, is there a date already set that we'll have an opportunity to come back and look at the final product before it's ratified?
Yes, January 12th will be our next meeting.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So the hope is that, Commissioner, if we missed anything that the county had done in terms of activities, the things we had listed, that you would add those things, send that email, and then we can add those things in and make sure that it's as accurate as possible in terms of the investments that were done on each side of the municipalities. We did add in some additional items from Councilman Barlow over the weekend because he was going to be out of town, and also Councilwoman Goins. And so we're still missing 3 comments actually from 3 strategy committee members. And so it is going to be an evolving document, but the idea was to at least have a draft and a foundation that we knew that we could be just editing, and then over the 30 days have something really good going forward. And the plan is that after we get the draft to finalize, that we can start talking to the different municipalities about what we were able to accomplish and how there is still a need within this federal designation, within these boundaries, so we can start to at least try to align our goals or state that we actually do have goals coming from the legislative committee that we do want to see come forward. And over the past few years, we haven't been able to really tell the story of what SNEC is, what is SNEC about, and what are we actually trying to achieve. And we're hoping that the document gives us some recognition and credibility. And also, we're going after EDA planning dollars as well to help with some things that we want to do.
I think that's a big part of that, and that sounds great, Cinderwoman, but I think until we're able to really show the community that we've actually finalized something, that we've actually had something done, opposed to creating another document. I mean, I think that's what we've been giving this community for years. They want to see something concrete. They want to see us with some brick and mortar. They want to see a final product. And I know that, we've all been working in silos and, doing our own little thing, but I think collectively, it's going to make a significant difference. we can be able to really put something out there, put a document out there that people can believe in. When I was with the city of Las Vegas, I mean, they used to do the 5-year plan, or that master plan that they would do over in West Las Vegas every 5 years, if you will. And still a lot of that stuff has not come to fruition yet. So, I believe, we just stay optimistic and keep it as updated as we possibly can, but just kind of join in with Councilwoman Goins Brown and have something going on. We rally behind her to push it and make sure that it gets finalized and that, we can check that off of our list. We go back to this document that not only do we have a vision, but we're carrying the vision out, opposed to just putting another tabletop document out there that people are saying, oh, well, here's another piece of rock paper that I can put in my fireplace, So I appreciate the leadership of Assemblywoman that you're bringing to us, but I just really would like to see us put some teeth in it until we really solidify something with a real-time project that we can all be proud of. I mean, it is what it is.
Right. That is our goal. Our goal is to have something real. I think this is like the right time and the right season. We have different developers that are around. We have some legislative bills that have already passed that create incentives and tax incentives that can help in the area, which were a part of the 2007 plan Senator Hornsberg wanted, and that came to fruition in this past legislative session. So I think we have some of the roadblocks. I think we've removed some of them. It's all about finding the right developers and bringing things together in order to make something manifest.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Any additional comments? Okay. So we'll go ahead and close the agenda item number 8, so that we have adopted this to go out for public comment for the 30 days. The plan is to have some set designated meetings to help people understand. Yes, it will be posted in the public places and it will be sent out via email, but we already know that until you actually have a physical meeting and show documents to people, it doesn't work, and community outreach is not real until you've actually stood there in front of somebody. So that is the plan. Over the next 30 days is to have set meetings and help people understand through several different outlets that this is going on and that a draft has been completed. And so now we will move to agenda item number 9, which is back to public comment. We're getting ready we'll adjourn after that. So are there any citizens that want to come up for public comment to speak on any of the items that are on the agenda? Okay, thank you, Mr. Collins.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Madam Chairman. My question was about, am I my brother's keeper? Commissioner asked, was anyone at a meeting a while back? I was at a couple of meetings when we brought up $200 million for am I my brother's keeper, and I think that was a national figure of $200 million for the total investment in am I my brother's keeper. I think that $200 million for the world, for the United States, I don't think that's sufficient enough to get what we're planning to do off the ground. And I heard Dr. Tyler say that, if I heard her correctly, that we have not received any private money. I think it was it $200 million. I think that was from the government. The government put in the $200 million, and I thought that we were supposed to gather funds from different private entities and then put a plan together and then start to bringing those young men and young ladies in and giving them what type of training of any kind that they needed and everything. And one of the components that I would like to have seen in that was that we need to do something about sealing those individuals' files. And I don't know had we addressed that or not, because we can go out, what I'm afraid of, that putting all of this time in and effort, and we were asking all these young people to put their time and their effort in, and then once they complete the program and go off on their own to start a new life, and then they run into a brick wall, and that wall happened to be they are ex-felons, and their records are not sealed. So all of the hard work that we asked them to do, and all of the faith and belief that we had them to believe that we would be able to help them start a new life, and then when they do this, then here's this halo that's hanging on their head, which happened to be an ex-felon. So my question is that if we're going to move forward, I don't know if we include that or not, but if we haven't, I really appreciate that my brother's keeper at our next meeting, somewhere down the line, we adopt that some sealing of those individuals' records, because all of the training in the world that we can give them, if their records are not sealed, they still ex-felons. And then they're going to be disillusioned, and then they will not be able to believe anything else that we tell them. They're not going to believe it because they're measured up, and all of a sudden they ran into another brick wall, and bingo's all for no. So that was my comment about the "Am I my brother's keeper?" Because I really think that we need to, and Commissioner said, we need to stop talking, and we need to put some boots on the ground now, because a few more days it'll be next year, and if we can't see it and taste it and feel it, then these young people, their retention span is kind of short, and so I think we need to like the commissioner say, let's stop talking and let's put some boots and stuff on the ground, and that's all I had to say. Thank you for allowing me to come and hear my comments.
Okay, thank you. Any additional public comment? Dr. Tyler?
I'll be brief. In reviewing the Community Economic Development Plan, I am ecstatic about the projects that you are proposing. On page 19 of the document, you know the suggested projects from the Strategy Committee include things like healthcare, unmanned aerial systems, call centers, as well as logistics and distribution. Currently, there is a CDBG application in consideration with Clark County to establish a regional workforce development training center, where 4 of those areas are identified as areas that will be trained in, as well as a discussion on the film production credit piece and training for film production. So I'm so excited to hear Commissioner Weekly calling for some tangible projects, and I believe there's an opportunity with that regional workforce development center to actually manifest some of the items that are noted here in the Community Action Development Plan. This is really great thinking.
Yeah, we have some very interesting people on the committee. Brian Maddox of Clearinghouse, Nick Steele, who's the downtown developer for the Eclipse Theater. We have City of North Las Vegas, Jim Hay, Economic Development, of course, our awesome Mr. McGeechee of the City of Las Vegas. And then we had Nancy Broom, Chandra Armstrong, she brought a lot of the transportation expertise, and then me. Yeah, thank you. Any additional public comment?
Thank you. My name is Catherine Duncan. I'm president of the Las Vegas Ward 5 Chamber of Commerce. And I haven't seen the draft of the plan yet, so the things that I'm requesting may already be there. But if the plan, we would hope that the plan would speak to establishing a green impact zone over the SNEC area, which is what we presented to you at the last meeting. And that we also create a historic West Side district, which would be a free trade zone, which would include the Moulin Rouge and the pre-1950 Las Vegas. Also, that the Harrison House be utilized as an outreach office so that residents can come in and review the plan during business hours from 9 to 5 each day during the 30-day period. And that the Ward 5 Chamber of Commerce be partnered with the SNEC so that we can bring projects to this board regularly instead of waiting for the rest of the community to find out about it. We could go out and solicit projects that are suitable for funding and present them to the board. In other words, the Ward 5's business would be to do community economic development planning on a daily basis as part of our regular business instead of once every 2 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Duncan. I'm sure we'll be able to probably give you a copy before you leave. This is a draft. It's still ongoing. We didn't reinvent the West Las Vegas plan. That was already in existence through West Las Vegas, so there's a historic designation. Whatever was established in West Las Vegas, because they had at least 3 plans, if not, right? We looked over all of the existing plans to make sure that we, number one, were not redundant, that we didn't try to take on anything that wasn't already an established goal of another city. We tried to deal with the areas and the niche weaknesses that one side may or may not have been doing and that were development issues. They did suggested projects, and so you can look that over, but the strategy committee, I don't know what the end result of the strategy committee deciding on the green, but they did mention some level of solar manufacturing. They didn't do anything else beyond that statement. But this is still a draft where we have 3 members who don't have their comments from the strategy committee in the document. So you need to treat this document as it is still being edited and being added to, and the 30 days in the community is to get their input and recognition that something was done. And so, yes, your comments are definitely in the minutes. Your comments were taken note of in the strategy committee meetings.
Okay, so then my request to have the green impact zone included as part of the overall community economic development strategy would be a very specific request because it would speak to a very specific kind of funding from the Economic Development Agency. They would be looking for that zone for us to get the, so that we would be able to apply for those type of funds. The Environmental Protection Agency funds would be looking for a specific zoning designation. Additionally, for historic West Side district designation, that district would come with very specific funding from the historic preservation component. So they would be looking for a district designation. So as a district, we would have to go in and identify, do a historic survey, and once we do the historic survey, we would identify those buildings that are worthy of historic preservation and then look to find funding to update, improve, and restore those facilities. So the district designation is a formal designation, as well as the green impact zone would be needed for the EPA. And of course, a free trade zone is also a specific federal designation that will allow businesses to come into the community and would get tax benefits. So those are very specific designations that we'll be looking for in the plan.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, any additional public comment? Seeing none, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dr. Young is the first. Councilwoman Glenn, second.
I second.
Okay. So, all in favor?
Aye.
So, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys for coming out on Monday. And thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much.